This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, am I audible? Anil, Janardhan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir.
Uh, okay. So yesterday we discussed about YAM. So coming to the services. So what is service? A service is a program or utility that starts automatically when the system boots. So services are automatically start when system boots. That is called service. Any example for services like NFS, Network File System. NFS is the service. DNS is the service. FTP is the service. So whenever system is booted, some services are by default start automatically. For example, ls lists the files. Can anyone tell what is ls? Is it a command or folder or file?
Command.
Is it command or folder or file? ls lists the files, pwd, present working directory, clear the screen. These are files or commands or folders?
Command, sir.
Commands. Can we call also service? Can we call ls also a service? I want to see the files in my current directory. What is the service? ls. Every command is a service. It's giving services to you. You want to clear the screen, run the command clear. It will clear the screen. So giving the services to you. So every command is also a service. So Unix, all the commands are services. So some services we also call daemons. Some services we also call daemons. What is daemon? Any idea? Anyone? Have you seen the daemon? Daemon nothing but ghost, right? We can't able to see the ghost. So we can't able to see the demons. So daemons are the services that starts automatically when system boots and runs continuously till the server is down. We can say daemons are background process. Daemons are background process. Daemons runs in the background. So like demons nothing but a ghost. We can't able to see the ghost. We can't able to see the demons. Demons in the runs in the background. Background means what? We can't able to see that. Every service has demons. For example, services and demons. NFS is the service. Daemon is NFSD. DNS is the service. Daemon is named. Telnet is the service. Daemon is Telnet D. SSH is the service. Daemon is SSHD. Meaning what? Daemons always end with D. For every service, some daemons are responsible. So, every service not a daemon. Every service not a daemon, but every daemon is a service. Daemons also called services. NFS is a service, but not a daemon. NFSD is a daemon, also a service. So every service not a daemon, but every daemon are services. Every daemons are services. So we can say that daemons are controlled by service. Meaning what? We cannot stop the daemon, we cannot start the daemon, but we can stop and start the service. Stop and start the service, that will stop and start the daemon. So as a Linux administrator, you need to understand what is service, what is daemon. So daemons cannot be stopped, daemons cannot be started, but we can stop and start the services. When we stop the service, the daemon automatically stop. When we start the service, the daemons are automatically start. What is the command to see services and daemons? The command is ps-ef. PS stands process status. PS stands process status. E for report on all processes. F is the owner of the process. Run the command ps-ef. 5 more page wise. So process ID, parent process ID, sleeping time, TTY, terminal type, and CMD. So I told you that PS-EF, we can see both services and daemons. How do we identify which are services, which are daemons? Services are different, daemons are different. How do you identify that? By seeing the question mark. Whenever you found question mark indicates these are not services. Question mark indicates it's a daemon. All question marks are daemons. TTY1, bash. What is bash? It's a service. It's not a daemon. Why? Because no question mark. What is bash? Bash is the shell. What is shell? Shell is not a daemon. Shell is one service. Shell is one service. That's why no question mark. PS-EF. It's a command. All commands are services. More is a command, also service. That's why no question mark. Services doesn't have question mark and daemons will have a question mark. Like this, we will identify which are services, which are daemons. Now, how to control the service? We can control the services by using service command or by using systemctl command. We want to control the services, we can control with service or systemctl. Service command is old version till version 6.0. From version 7.0, they introduced systemctl. But service command will also work in the current version. So the syntax for service command is service name action. Service name action. Service names can be any name like NFS, DNS, Telnet, SSH, HTTPD, all are services. Whichever service you want to start, type the service name here. Type the service name here. Actions. Actions are stop, it will stop the service, start the service, restart the service, reload, restart or reload both are same. You want to see the status of the service, type status. That is called action. For example, service name, NFS is the service name. You want to see the status, type status. If the service not running, you want to start it, run the start command. Already started, you want to stop it, run the stop command. Already started, you want to restart it, you can use restart or reload. So service name, action. These are all actions. So service name stop, service name start, whatever actions are there, these are temporary, not permanent. If you start the service, for example, if you run status, the service is not started, then start it, NFS start. It is temporary. Meaning what? If you reboot it, it won't start automatically. Again, we have to start manually. If service already started, you want to stop it. If you use the stop command, it is temporary. Stop only for this session. If you reboot it, it will start automatically. The stop and start the service with service command is temporary. Temporary means only for that session. It is not permanent. Now systemctl. How to use the systemctl? Systemctl action service name service name. Actions we have both temporary and permanent. Start, stop, restart, reload, status. All these are temporary. Same like service command. You want to stop the service, start the service, restart the service, we can use service command. We can use systemctl command. But what the syntax here? Systemctl stop service name. Here service name stop. Here stop service name. But both are temporary, not permanent. Then how to stop and start the services permanently? Use the command systemctl actions, which is permanent. Disable means permanently disable. Enable means permanently enable. For example, systemctl start nfs.service. We can also use only nfs or extension.service. Generally, we use always .extension service, but even nfs also will work. It is immediately start. Start means what? Immediately start, but temporary. Immediate but temporary. How to make it permanent? Systemctl enable nfs.service. It is called permanent. Meaning of permanent, even if I reboot it, the service will start automatically. Without run this command, if I run only this command, only for the session, it is only temporary. For permanent, you have to enable it. Like for example, systemctl enable or disable. Before that, run the status httpd. httpd is the name of the service for web server. Name of the service for web server. We can type httpd or httpd.service. Suppose the service is already running. You want to stop it. Use the command systemctl disable httpd.service. If you run the command disable, it won't stop immediately. Disable is a permanent, but you need to reboot the server. When we use enable or disable, it is not immediate. The changes will be affected only in the next reboot. But without rebooting, I want to stop the service immediately. Then we have to use systemctl stop httpd dot service. Stop and start immediate. Immediately start, immediately stop, but temporary. You want to make it permanent every time the next reboot, then you have to use either for enable. You want to start every time automatically, use enable. You don't want to start the service every time at system boot time, use disable. So is this clear? Any questions? Right. Now firewalls. We have firewalls, firewall D. Firewall D is a software firewall. There are two types of firewall, software firewall, hardware firewall, Cisco routers, Pix firewall, all these are hardware firewall, Juniper, all these are hardware firewall. But every operating system has their own software firewall. When you install Windows, by default, Windows install one firewall, that is software firewall. Like Unix or Linux also, when install the operating system, it's a firewall by default installed, that is called firewall D, name of the firewall. So you need to check that one more firewall we have, SC Linux. SC Linux also a software firewall. What is difference we'll see later. There are two firewalls in Linux, Firewall D and SC Linux. I'm going to close this window. If you want take the photo, take the photo. Take the snap. Shall I clear? So by using Firewall D, used for allow or deny networks and also port numbers. Which network you want to allow, which port you want to allow, which network you want to deny, which port you want to deny. For that, we are going to use Firewall D. So, how to know that the Firewall D service is the firewall is running or not? We can use service command or systemctl command. Service status firewall. If this service is running, if this service is running, no one can access your server from remote. The database is running on your server or some applications are running on your server, no one can access your application, no one can access your database or any application when the firewall is up and running. So what we need to do is we have to disable the firewall. So you know how to disable the firewall. We can use service command or we can use systemctl command. So disable the firewall. So how to disable systemctl or service stop firewall d dot service. But this is immediate but temporary. Immediately stop, but only for this session. Then run systemctl disable firewall d dot service. From tomorrow onwards, we are going to discuss about the services like FTP, NFS, DNS, DHCP, all these services. So while discussing these services, we required minimum two virtual machines. Two virtual machines. One we are going to configure as a client, other one we are going to configure as a server, client and server. We required two VMs which are client and server. When the client want to communicate the server, at the server, make sure that this firewall should be disabled. Make sure that the firewall should be disabled. If the firewall is enabled, we can't able to connect to the server from the client. So at the server side, disable this firewall. Here, I'm not basically firewall nothing but in the real time, are we going to start the firewall, enable the firewall, or disable the firewall? In the real time, are you going to enable or disable the firewall? So firewall nothing but your security guard. Right now to my office there is no security guard. All of a sudden today night I'll keep on security guard. So tomorrow security guard won't allow anyone except me. He won't allow anyone except me. That is called starting the firewall. If you start the firewall, it won't allow any service to access from remote. The security guard is on. He won't allow anyone except me. But if you remove the security guard, anyone can enter into my office because of no security guard. That is called disable. If you disable it, anyone can access your application, your databases, whatever you set up in your server, anyone can access. So you want security guard or you want to remove the security guard? Or you want to stop the firewall or start the firewall? In the real time, our job is configure firewall. Not stop, not start, configure firewall. Meaning of configure firewall, give the list of the employees to the security guard. Give the list of the employees to the security guard to whom we want to allow. Like here also, we have to tell that which network to allow, which ports to allow, what ports to allow or what networks to allow. Remaining all denied. So there are two types of configuration of firewall. First, disable all, allow few. This is one. The other one is enable all, disable few. So what we are going to do first, disable everyone. Disable everyone. The best rule of configuration of firewall is disable everyone. Now you know that which network to allow in your organization. You know that what are the networks in your organization, what are the ports are running, enable. First disable everything, then come to allow. Which network to allow, which ports to allow. Anything if I missed, or anything if I forgotten, by default those are disabled. The best configuration of firewall is first disable everything, then come to allow. But here we are not going to discuss how to configure firewall. Right. The one more firewall is SE Linux. SE Linux also a firewall. What is different between firewall D and SE Linux? For example, SE Linux is the firewall we are going to apply on folder, on file, or folder level. Firewall D, we are going to configure network and ports. SE Linux is the firewall we are going to apply on file or folder level. Somebody log into your server from remote, meaning of that firewall D allowing, firewall is allowed, that's why able to log into my server. But sometimes there might be happen, allow some network which are not supposed to allow. I allow one IP address which is not supposed to allow. I did not configure in my firewall D deny that particular IP address or particular port. So that guy log into my server with that IP which is not in the firewall D, the firewall D automatically allowed. He is trying to heal my data. It is trying to steal my data. He's trying to steal my data. When I upload this SE Linux, even though he log into my server, he can't able to steal my data because we applied firewall on file and folder level. So there are multi-level firewalls. One is firewall D. By chance, the firewall D is allowed, SE Linux will be going to block it because not a authorized user. So how to use this SE Linux? Here types of modes we have. Enforcing mode, permissive mode, disable mode, and permissive mode. Whenever you found enforcing mode, meaning of that SE Linux is on, firewall is on. Firewall is on. Disable means what? SE Linux is off. Permissive also SE Linux is off. Now, what is the difference between disable and permissive? In both the cases, firewall is off. Disable means permanently disabled. Permissive means temporary. right? Now, how to see the status of SE Linux? Get enforce. To see the status of SE Linux. Get enforce to see the status of SE Linux. If you found here output as enforcing, that means what? The firewall is on. If you run the command, we'll see the output as enforcing, meaning the firewall is on. You want to disable the firewall, use the command set enforce. Set enforce 0. Set enforce 0 means what? Disable. Disable temporary, not permanent. Again you type get enforce. You can see that now it is permissive mode. Earlier it was enforcing mode. Now you can see permissive mode because the firewall is disabled. If you reboot it, again the firewall automatically on. It comes and again enforcing mode. So set enforce command, it is only disabled temporary, not permanent. Again you want to on the SE Linux, run the command set enforce 1. Enable SE Linux, again temporary. 0 means disable, 1 means enable. You want to see the status, get enforce command. You want to enable, disable the SE Linux, set enforce command. So whether you are enabled or disabled, it is only for that session. For permanent disable, open the file vi/etc/sysconfig/SE Linux. Here we can see a line enforcing SE Linux. By default, we'll see enforcing. By default, we'll see enforcing. Change to disable. Default is enforcing, you have to change to disable. When you change that enforcing to disable, it is not immediate. Again, we have to reboot the server. The changes will be affected only when we reboot the server. But without rebooting, immediately you want to disable that, then run it in the command line. Save the file. Without rebooting, you want to disable it, run this command. In the next reboot, refer this file. I change this enforcing to disable mode. I change to disable mode. In the next reboot, refer this file. Because of SLNX is disabled, it won't start the SLNX. So anything you want to make it permanent, we have to update SLNX file. This is the difference between SLNX and FirewallD. What is the difference? What is the difference between FirewallD and SLNX? Tomorrow you want to meet your friend, is working some MNC company. You went to the office. The watchman, he won't allow you. Why? Because watchman is nothing but your firewall. Physically available. Watchman is physically available. Firewall D. He won't allow you first. Just hold on. So in the entrance itself, the watchman, he won't allow you. There is nothing but a firewall. You have to get the request approval from your friend. They will allow you. Once you go to the office, you don't know where your friend, which floor, first or second or third, where he's staying, you don't know. Then what you have to do, you have to go to front office. Front office, tell your friend's name, where he's staying. The front office is going to guide you. This is called SC Linux. So firewall is nothing but your security guard, and SC Linux is your front office. They're going to guide you. So even the guy logged into my server without my permission is unauthorized. SC Linux will check that whether this person is authorized or unauthorized. So both are firewall. It is like it is like apple and orange. Apple and orange. What is the difference between apple and orange? Both are fruits. Like here also, both are firewalls. Right. Now come to the networking concepts. You want to see the name of the operating system, run the command uname -s. You want to see what the name of the OS, run the command uname -s. What is the name of the OS? Linux. Uname -r for release. What is the release? EL9. EL9 stands Enterprise Linux. Enterprise Linux version 9. This is called version. And 5.14.0.0-472, this is called release. Release is different, version is different. Release refers kernel release. If you go to about phone, there we can see the kernel version. Kernel means what? Operating system version. Release refers operating system, kernel. Version refers desktop. x86 architecture 64-bit kernel. Uname -m machine architecture. It shows only the architecture. x86 64-bit kernel. Uname -s to see the system name. Sorry. Uname -n to see the system name or host name. Uname -n to see the system name or host name. System 1. You want to see all information? -a for all. Name of the operating system name, release, version, architecture, everything. A for all. Tomorrow you want to change the host name, you can change host name. This is the command to change the host name of the system. But it is not permanent, it is temporary. It is not permanent, it is temporary. You want to make it permanent, update the file /etc/hostname file. This file you have to update for permanent change of host name. So you can update through cat greater than /etc/hostname. SonarQube, Control T for save. Now the file get updated. This is temporary. Command is temporary. Updating the file is permanent. but still my host name is showing as wisdom1 only. You have to reboot the system or log off and log in. Without log off and log in or without rebooting, type bash. Immediately you can see the host name as SonarQube without rebooting. So you want to change the host name, type the host name, but it is temporary. Update this file for permanent. We have one more method, type host name wisdom1 and host name greater than /etc/hostname. You know this command, right? Host name that give the name of the host. That give the name of the host wisdom1. That output redirect greater than stands redirect to the host name file. You can see instead of running the cat command or va command, first change the host name, then run this command. The output of the host /etc/hostname file. Now this is temporary change the host name and this is permanent change the host name. Type bash, we can see immediate. Instead of two commands, one is temporary, the other one is permanent, with a single command, hostname_ctl, hostname_ctl, set -hostname, SonarQube, set -hostname, Sonar. It is going to change the host name in the /etc/hostname file. When hostname file changed means what? It is permanent, immediate and permanent. You can see that with bash command. With this command to change the host name permanently with a single command, we can change the host name permanently. Like this, we can see how to change the host name temporary permanent. And when you type uname-s, it is showing that it's a Linux. Under Linux, there are so many variants, so many distributions. Red Hat, Ubuntu, Fedora, CentOS, Puppy Linux, Kali Linux, Debian Linux, PCQuest Linux. There are so many distributions. How do you know that which distribution of Linux it is? Run the command cat/etc *release. If you are working as a cloud admin or DevOps engineer, you need to know that what distribution of Linux it is, because the commands in CentOS is different, the commands in Ubuntu Linux is different, the commands in Fedora Linux, Debian Linux are different. Not all the commands, 90%, all the commands will same, 10% the commands are different. Commands are different. So, so before you're working on Linux server, run this command, find out which voice, because if we install manually, we know that we are installing CentOS or we are installing Red Hat or we are installing Fedora or Ubuntu. But real time the server is already installed. You never get a chance to install the OS. The server is already installed, databases, applications already deployed. You're going to work on the server where the setup is already there. So you need to find out that what Linux variant it is by running this command. So you want to check the IP address, type IP space A to see the IP address. Or you can also use ifconfig command. Ifconfig command also to see the IP address. What is showing that this is my IP address, subnet mask, broadcast address, and hardware address, and also loopback address. Same information we can see with IP space A also. This is the loopback address. This is the MAC address. and this is the IP address and broadcast address. We can also use IP ADDR to see the IP address. IP space A, IP ADDR, both are same. You can use any one to see the IP address. This is old version /etc/host. Update the hostname file for permanent. If config, for example, you want to change the IP address for temporary, if config name of the network card. Here, what is the name of my network card? Ethernet card ENS160. So type that IP address ENS160, ENS160 name of the network card and IP address up. It is going to change the IP address, but temporary. It is temporary, not permanent. For permanent change of IP address, generally go to virtual machine. IP addresses are two types: dynamic IP, static IP. At the time of installation, default, we are going to select by default dynamic IP. Dynamic IP means what? The IP address is automatically configured during installation. Even your laptop, Windows, when install Windows, IP address is always dynamic. We are not going to configure IP address manually. It automatically configured. Dynamic means what? The IP address automatically configured. How to check it? Run the command nmtua. nmtua edit connection ENS160. Here we can see automatically connect. The meaning of automatic, IP address automatically configured. In the real time, when they give the laptop to you, that IP address automatically configured. Because we don't know what network they are using. We don't know what IP addresses are free. We should get the IP address automatically from the DHCP server. We have a separate topic, DHCP. There we discuss in detail about automatic IP. So here, because of automatic, the IP address will get automatically. You want to configure static IP address, click on this automatic, select manual. You want to configure static IP, click on manual. Then click on show. Click on show. Click on add. The IP address now 192.168.0. I'm adding some IP address, let us say 0.1. When we are adding the IP address manually, we should type /24 because of class C IP address /24. If it is class C IP address /8, class B IP address /16, class C IP address /24. Because of class C, you write the subnet mask /24. This is how to configure IP address manually. So use the tab, click on OK, go back, then restart the service network restart. If down ENS 160, if up ENS 160. So run the command if down, disable IP, again if up. So in version 9, when I'm trying to restart this service, it is giving some error. Network.service not found. Okay. So what you have to do is if down, run if down, name of the network card. If down, name of the network card. Again, if up, name of the network card. Now you see the IP address is changed. When we configure IP address, manual IP, static IP, where this IP address will be stored. There is a file /etc slash sysconfig slash network hyphen scripts ifcfg. In the new version, they might have changed this file. I have to check it in the new version where this IP address. I'll tell you tomorrow. But if it is older version, you can see that file /etc sysconfig network scripts ifcfg, name of the network card ENS33, ENS160, ETH0. This is the name of the network card. When you open this file, you'll see the IP address here 192.168.0.1. So when we configure IP address manually, static IP, that IP will be stored in this file. You want to change the IP address? Directly open the file. You can change the IP address here itself. Change the IP address here itself. Then restart the service. Restart the service. The IP will automatically change. So this is about networking concepts. So tomorrow we are going to start services. Right. We'll see tomorrow. Same time.
Firewall screenshot, sir.
Nandi?
Firewall screenshot ಇದಾರಾ?
No finish.
ఒక్క నిమిషం అండి. Done అండి. Thank you.